Wait, so you learn how to DJ from a random stranger at a protest? That's a story to start off.
I think you never use the crossfader most of the time. I was relying on the crossfader for when I was trying to learn to mix myself.
Right.
And then they're like, the first thing they said was, no, you never ever do that. You know, hit the.
All right, welcome back to the Back and Body Hurts Rave podcast, where we talk about all things EDM related. I'm your host, Benny, and my co-host, Ekern.
Hey.
We're joined here with a special guest today, Scott.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So, Scott, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, yeah. So my name's Scott. I've been DJing for about 2 years now, something like that. I've always was really interested in it. I remember even like back in the college days, I'd be sitting there looking at the DJ booth, even when he was playing Soulja Boy and, you know, ridiculous Akon stuff. I just always thought it was a really cool hobby and something that I was really interested in. So I bought my first decks, I think when I was like 20. Didn't really use them for a long time, and then came here and when I moved to Toronto, saw some people DJing at a random protest, actually walked up and then asked them how to do it. And they taught me a couple of ways and how it's supposed to be done. And then that kind of kickstarted my DJ adventure so far.
Where are you originally from?
I'm from Calgary originally. Yeah. So I moved here a couple of years ago. But outside of that, I DJ for the last 2 years, but love raving, love going outdoors, like hitting all the concerts I can and festivals, traveling around. It's definitely probably the biggest thing that I've been spending my time on recently.
Wait, so you learn how to DJ from a random stranger at a protest? That's a story to start off.
I think I never told Benny this either, but yeah, I live pretty close to Bloor Young. So this was back in the day. They're doing the anti-vax rallies. I should say I'm not an anti-vaxxer by any means, but it was just interesting. I saw they had DJs there. I was in the area and I was like, oh, these guys are actually really good. And they were playing really great stuff. So jumped over, talked to them. They weren't anti-vaxxers either. They just got paid to be there. And, and then
they got paid to DJ at a protest. That's funny.
Well, and they were playing some great stuff, like it was like some really good stuff, some old school house cuts. Like they really knew what they were doing. And then, so they taught me a whole bunch of stuff and, a lot of the assumptions I had about how to do it, even as a house DJ, like you never use the crossfader most of the time. I was relying on the crossfader for when I was trying to learn to mix myself. Right. And then they're like, the first thing they said was, no, you never ever do that. It's all
I
about the
remember
volume.
You telling me, we were DJing at his place. It's like, oh, yo, what does that button do? It's like, oh, you're not really supposed to use that. And you're like, oh, and I have to find out the hard way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just like all these little things. It's so interesting. Like even what I love about the hobby so much, and I'm sure we'll get into this later, is that house DJing has a whole kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say like culture, but there's some like habits and things that you do versus I know other people who are open format DJs who will play more, like rap, hip hop and stuff like that. And how they approach it is actually totally different. So it's pretty cool how even in like the hobby of DJing and playing music and stuff, there's so many different lanes that you can find yourself in and kind of like reinvent yourself whatever way you want.
You can really be unique with it and have your own type of style. That's why I love music so much. It's like everyone can bring something so new to the table that you don't even really know unless someone else does it.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the current scene right now, right? A lot of people don't use crossfader as like doing their sets, but you can see some of their unique styles. Like Hector Oaks, who's a techno DJ, he uses old school vinyl. Same as Andy C for drum and bass. Most of the people, I think Armin van Buuren had a phase with.
So he has a vinyl set, but that's super rare. Yeah, he doesn't do that often. Like he'll do it really special occasions, like maybe like I think it was like ASOD 800 or something. I don't know. I'm not sure which number, but he does bring it out very rarely, which is special.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, I know some people play vinyl, but for me, I've never got into it just because the funnest part. And I guess, we'll talk about this later. We're talking about this a little bit beforehand. But the funnest part about DJing for me that I love is, we all love the music, obviously. That's why we're into things like this. But it gives you a whole new way to listen to music and appreciate it.
Yeah.
Where, you know, before you're like listening to songs and you're like, oh, this is great. But when you have that other lens of it, of like, oh, it's a great song, this would fit really well into my whatever, like this type of mix when I need a big breakdown, like this is the song for it. So you're kind of like listening to songs, and even songs that you wouldn't just like listen or play into your car. Like it's really cool how you can find a place for them in your set, even if it's only like a 2 to 3 minute part as like an opening track or like a closing track. You can kind of take all types of different music and then, you know, find a place for it, which is really cool.
Actually, when we were preying at your place, this was for the church event, Hunter Church event. You actually really showed me how to use loops in a way to bring other elements of different songs into your set, which I'm gonna give you kudos, give you props for that. That was I stole that from his book.
yeah, you'll see. I mean, I've even gotten better now. So when I see you guys next weekend,
yeah. Show you guys. So if you don't know, we're I don't know when this video is gonna be released or this podcast is gonna be released, but we're all going to the Just Dreamin' event, the
Dragon's Den or something like that.
Dragon Dance Revolution.
Yeah.
DDR.
Oh, I actually did not notice that. So how long would you say you have been DJing as a hobby?
So yeah, I mean, probably about 2 years. That's when I've been picking it up more seriously. Probably about the summer of, I guess, 2021, like right after COVID. That's when I got most into it. So I kind of started with my original origin story, which was actually guys at a protest who taught me the basics. But how I really learned how to do it and kind of what really sparked my passion for it was, there's a bar on Bloor and Ossington called Baseline.
I think I introduced you to this.
Yeah, I think you might have. I think you actually might have done it for me. Yeah, and you told me that they did this.
Yeah, we're at the that same pre we were talking about. I'm like, oh, if you like mixing, you should check out Baselines. They have open decks on Tuesdays, and you're so into it. That's so awesome.
Actually, that's true. I think you did get me onto it, and it's so great. Like I used to do that. I used to go, like they did it Mondays and Tuesdays. I think now they do it some Sundays, stuff like that. But I used to go like twice a week. I loved it. Like you show up at 6 p.m. at the time. I think now it's 8. They had a piece of paper on the bar. Then you just write your name for when you want to play, and you get a little 30-minute slot. And then they got CDJs, or, I guess for maybe people who aren't aware, that's like the club standard equipment. It's what you probably think of when you think of pro DJing. And there's like the big 4-channel mixer in the middle, the 2 huge decks, or I guess the platos on either side. It's, like industry standard stuff. So they have a set there that they let pretty much anyone use if you sign up on time. So it's really fun. Like I got started there, and you kind of start your first time, and then I was so nervous. I showed up for my set, plugged my USB in, and it didn't work because I didn't format it to FAT32, which is something you always got to do if you're playing on CDJs. But just like all these things, and it was great at the time because there's so many people who are like into it or just starting out or have been playing for a little while who were also there just killing time before their set. So then they'd pop over and be like, hey, I saw you did this, like maybe try doing this way.
Yeah.
So I played there like quite a few times and met a whole bunch of people who taught me even more than, the protest guys, and like taught me how to play and like how to mix and interesting ways to approach it, and, all these different techniques and stuff. I really owe a lot of it to those guys, and some of them, like I guess I can shout them out, like Jax, Chazzy, Fido Dido, DNJ. These guys are like underground, baseline legends for sure, and like they're all still playing gigs now. It's great.
You were telling me one story about this one guy that doesn't analyze their songs.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
That's wild.
That guy, yeah, he's like one of the OGs. He's actually the dude. His name's JC. He runs all the events, a lot of the events at Baseline now. He's got a DJ collective called Fast Entertainment, which I play with sometimes. And he's like OG. He's been DJing for probably like 20 years. Even longer than that. He's been playing forever, and he's just so good. He just doesn't even analyze his tracks. And I was actually there. I was playing with him couple of weeks ago, and like I asked him about it. He said he doesn't like doing it because it makes it more fun. Because
wouldn't you say that now if you don't analyze the songs to mix it, it's the modern version of Mixing vinyl?
Yeah, I could see that in a way. Yeah. So, for those of you that don't know vinyl, I mean not vinyl, analyzing the song, when you analyze a song, it spits out the BPM and the key to the track, and then you can use the computer or the software to look when the beats
goes
hit.
Up and down. Yeah.
But if you don't analyze it, you don't get anything. So it's literally just a bunch of squiggly lines.
And you just listen to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is so it's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty fun. I mean, obviously, like I'm so spoiled now. Like back in the day, that's what you always had to do. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. And like even the way he approached it is different. Like he beat matches everything by ear and just knows the song so well. You can like do it all flawlessly. But he's been doing it for like 25 years. So I guess
a lot of practice. Makes sense. Yeah, a lot of practice.
Yeah.
So where would you say your DJing career is now? Like how did it start, and like, how far has your journey come?
Yeah, so I think like maybe this is something I go into more, and like I'll tie it into how you can start if you're interested in this, and how you can maybe get gigs for the first time. So I started playing at Baseline there. I was just doing open decks for a long time. Probably about like 6 months, maybe even longer. Just met a whole bunch of people, kind of like hone your skills a little bit, get more comfortable with what you're doing, grow your library, and just learn a whole bunch from everyone around you. And then I just met the guy, JC, he's a dude who runs all the events at Baseline. And, just asked him one time, like, hey, you guys are doing shows on Thursday. Would you guys need someone to open? Likely no one's going to be here 8 to 9 p.m. I can play for a little bit and show you what I can do. And, he was super nice and said, he's like, yeah, you can give it a shot and let's see. So just, spent the whole week practicing, prepping your set, go in there, basically play to an empty bar because it's like 8 p.m. on a Thursday. Like no one's turning up yet. And then, just play like a whole set and, finish it off. That's kind of where I started. So then through that, I kind of got involved with those guys, and I'd play at Baseline for probably, I guess, about another year. Like I would do a lot of events there, and they're all really nice. Like I think the biggest thing I learned is if you bring people, a lot of event organizers are really open to having you there, because at the end of the day, like they're trying to throw events, they're trying to get people to come. Yeah, so if you can show up and know like, hey, when this guy comes, not only will he play a great set and not scare people out of the bar, but he'll also bring 5 friends too, or 10 people or whatever. Like they're all really open to it. Mm-hmm. And then once you kind of prove that you can do it and bring a crowd and play a proper set, like the way that doesn't sound absolutely horrible, they're really open to even letting you run your own nights. Like I've done a night there where I was playing and then just got two of my friends on the bill who had never played a Baseline before, but it's like, okay, like, you guys come play and you open, then I'll play and then pass it off to the other guys. Like they're really open to letting you kind of plan your own events, but it definitely takes a little bit of time, and they need to trust that, you'll play a good set and bring the right kind of music and the right kind of crowd when you come in
and
as
be
well.
Professional, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
When Baseline lets you run the show together, do they still do open decks in that way?
They'll do open decks. I think usually they'll do them like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then they'll do like proper events Thursday, Friday, Saturday, then it'd be more like these are the people who are playing at this time, and then other than that, I think it's open decks most of the time.
So you were telling me actually that the open decks, for when it's open deck, like the decks are like not so, they're kind of like old and beat up.
Yeah.
And like some of the buttons don't work the way that it's supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. And this is not a dig at Baseline at all. I mean, they've been there for like, they're like Toronto institution for sure. Yeah. They've been like, so many DJs have started there, but
no, it's understandable. Yeah.
But I mean, for sure, like some of the decks, like they've been through the ringer. I mean, they've been through so many shows and, like amateur DJs singing about like Monday and Tuesday, slamming buttons and ripping off knobs and like, God knows what. But yeah, I think even that's pretty good practice, because you'll start playing there and, it's like, how do I mix it up? Like, okay, this button's not working, the play button, so now I got to rely on loops, or what can I do to make this work? Or, how can I
learn to adapt?
It teaches you a set's not perfect, and like, you just have to
adapt.
Yeah.
Adapt.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, it's huge. So that's for anyone who's looking to get involved. I'd really recommend it. I know a couple other groups do open decks too. Like I know Just Streaming, we're talking about that. I think they do open decks as well.
Yeah. Oh, do they?
I think so. Yeah. I don't know if it's as like Baseline, like every Monday, Tuesday, they'll be doing open decks. I don't know if they do open decks as often. But like I know that it's something that they do for sure. So there's definitely places to get out there and start playing if you're interested.
That's pretty awesome. So how do you find, what's your process in discovering new music and organizing them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is another good question. And I actually just realized I didn't talk about where my journey is now. So maybe I actually forgot about that. So maybe I'll answer that first and then
sure.
ask you guys about kind of your DJ journeys as well. And then let's get into some of that stuff. So I guess so where I'm at now I totally sidetracked there, but I was playing at Baseline for a little while, did my own events and my own shows there for a little bit. And then just recently, I did a gig with this group called Traits last Thursday, and they do a lot of really good shows. And, the way that I got that show is just by knowing people. This was actually a guy who I met at Baseline. And he was kind of starting out and learning how to DJ around the same time I was too. So it was really fun because, I learned new tactics and show him that, or he'll learn new tactics, show me. And he...
do you guys do also song trades?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. We'll do some song trades. And like he likes more like Afro house, like Latin music. And I'm more like, I don't know, tech house, progressive kind of thing. So it's really fun like when we play because our styles are so different. But you can see how like he taught me a lot about how he would approach mixing versus how I would approach mixing, where I used to kind of rip it and then all mix within 16 bars. So just like phrase it and then swap the bass after 16 bars. And then, for that style, it's way more like build up and hype and like, having those big moments. So it's cool because I learned so much from him about, how to like build up and stuff, even though it's a different style that I don't play that much.
And are you keeping track of the 16 bars like in your head or?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But actually usually on the waveforms, you can see like almost every time in the 16th bar, they'll have like an extra double kick and then like the 16 bars will start. And then you just count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. But once you get used to it, you'll see like you can even just hear when you're listening, there'll always be like a little bit of a tell that a new phrase is starting.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I met this guy. He's like a really, really great guy. And he started his own event company. So, I mean, even like that, like how a lot of people I know got gigs, just started their own thing and just created their own event company or group, created a page, got a couple DJs, found a bar to do it, and then just started playing. And then there you go. Now you got gigs, every 2 weeks or whatever. So this was a guy who I met through Baseline and started his own company and his own, event team and is doing stuff like that. And so then, I knew that he was doing this. I just asked him one time, hey, can I come play? Like, I know the vibe that you're going for. I kind of know your style. I think I got some stuff that's interesting. Showed him a little bit and then, he let me go play. So that's kind of where I'm at now, just finding gigs like that.
I guess asking just goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And being nice to your peers too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think it is like a small industry. And I think even just knowing people and like, if it's a guy who I know really well, like I know we were talking about this a little bit before, but I've like seen him play. I know his style. I know what he's capable of. I know that if he spends like a week, he can pull together a really great set. Like that goes a really long time a really long way versus, if I've just heard him play on Instagram a little bit, like 1 or 2 song mashups. I don't know for sure what it's going to be like when you got to play for a full hour and a half and there's people there standing and staring at you. It's a lot different than like having a really nice clip for Instagram. So I think, that's something that's really important too, like actually getting out there and playing and practicing and
feeling the audience and the crowd.
Yeah, like just hearing the crowd and even just playing your stuff live on speakers where people are like looking at you because, there's a couple times where I found a song that I thought was really cool and then you play it out loud and it's got this like really corny vocal, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I'm sure you guys know how songs are sometimes got some pretty bad vocals. And, you know, it's just this awful vocal. And then it's like dead quiet and everyone's just staring at you. And it's this horrible vocal. Like,
that's true. Yeah.
Like, you know,
it sounds good in the headphones, but then once on the speaker, it's just completely different.
Yeah. And it's like, oh man, this is like
when that happens, like, what did you do? Do you like kind of tune it out or try to mix like new songs in to like match the beat, you know, try to drown out the vocals as much as you can?
Yeah. Just sweat through it, delete that song, never play it again.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Yeah, in a way.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So that's kind of my experience. I know you guys are both kind of interested in DJing, getting into it. So what have your guys' experience been so far, like getting started in it?
Mostly for me, it's just like for pre-parties and after parties, and you just I just throw on tracks that I like and yeah, just free form it really, and yeah. I know Yikern is like starting to get involved now too.
A little bit, yeah. So well, Benny introduced me to the decks, so I've been starting to like watch some videos on the side whenever I have free time to kind of mix in house, mix in different sort of genres, because I noticed that when you are mixing different types of genre, it is different. It's a lot different.
Yeah.
Like different styles, different culture, different type of way to mix it. Like how I didn't even realize that you count 16 bars in your head. Like, I don't do that yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're just all learning right here, right? I only get to play the decks whenever like Benny brings it over, but I do plan to buy one myself because when you go to raves and you hear some the DJ mash up two songs, you kind of want to learn how to do transition in that sense, right? But then you find out that some of these DJ have like sort of a buffer, like a techno track 101 or something like that on their wave, just to like transition makes it like a little bit more seamless in that sense. So in you mostly have done your DJ, it's just DJing, right? You haven't done any production in that sense.
Not yet. No, I know like some of my friends do production, and everything that I've heard from people is if you really want to get serious in this and like make a big splash, like you need to produce.
Yeah, you need to produce.
Yeah, because anyone can play songs. Like all of us can play songs, but like only one person can really play like your song, at least the way that you intend it. So I've never gotten into producing yet. Like I've had a friend come over and he showed me how to do Ableton. And I learned a lot from him, but then after that I was like, okay, this is so hard.
Because that's kind of like my experience with DJing, right? When you start doing some of your songs mashing up two together, but they don't mix well, but you know that this song should go after this song, so you have to find something in the middle to like kind of transition into that. And finding a new song finding a different track to fit in the middle is a lot harder than you think. Then if you already have the idea in your mind, you might as well just produce it, just to transition it well.
I think when you start DJing and producing, it really opens up your mind to the possibilities and music and listening to other people's set. A lot of people, this is me included, like once you start raving, you don't really know. You just know like the songs that come up. But then once you're sort of like me or anyone that is a veteran in raving, you're sitting there and when you're listening to sets, you were like, oh, this is a different element from this song. I haven't heard this before, and it just opens up your mind. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's the funnest thing about it. Like, because when you start, even what you're saying, like, you have two songs that want to go together. But then once you're more comfortable and familiar with it, it's so much more fun because you can pull out, like, oh, here's a good vocal I like, or like this song has a good vocal. So, you can even like cue it out. So it's like, okay, I'm going to loop these two bars where the vocal is like the absolute best. Play the whole song, mix it out, just like turn the volume down on song with a good vocal, loop that vocal and bring it back in for the intro of the other one. Like, there's so many like little tricks and things that you can do to like keep the crowd excited and energized. Like even just playing with the tracks and looping, like we were talking about, if you're looping out the last couple bars and then you just like loop it. So there's like a constant kick where in the build up of the next one's coming and you keep the energy up and you don't have that kind of like moment where all the energy goes out because you're having another build up. You can just like kind of keep it pumping the whole time. Like especially in techno, I know that's what they're doing all the time. Like there's no downtime, right? Because they're just mixing the tracks in, so there's kind of always that defining kick.
Yeah.
But like what I've noticed about techno raving so far is that when they transition, like you said, it keeps on going, but then the resting point is kind of like the start of the song where they want to mix in the first few the lows, and then they mix in the highs, and then they slowly mix in the mids, and each one of these mixing in is sort of quote unquote the drop, right? Yeah. So I mean, like I tell people that don't really listen to any techno songs. If you really want to experience techno as it is, try to go to a set, because it is about the journey, right? That's how you feel how to feel about techno. A lot of I've asked so many people to come to their first rave as techno, just to say that, oh, this is the DJ name, right? You don't need to like listen to any songs, just come, right? But then they all say like, oh, I listened to a couple of tracks, it's not really my thing, because it really isn't. If you listen to some of the techno beats, I mean, when I first started off techno, I literally went everything blind. I just trust Benny's taste. I just trust Sonny's taste. I just trust all my friends' taste. When they say go, I go.
So the first techno event he really went to, all three of us went actually. It was Hector Oaks at McCormick.
And that's how I met Scott.
1 McCormick.
Yeah.
And it was a sick show. It was unreal.
That's probably one of the best shows I've ever been to.
Yeah.
I think that, and then Mall Grab.
Mall Grab?
When he played at Coda. Yeah, he's like a British guy.
I'm not familiar with him. Maybe I'll have to look him up.
House songs, yeah. It was unreal. And I mean, I think just because he's like a great producer, but just like legendary DJ, where like you can see him like 4 decks, like so involved in everything he's doing. It's like, it's just crazy, right?
I wish you were at TDJ. You would have loved it. It was an amazing show. It was as good as Hector Oaks. Maybe
Really?
better, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah. Next time she's around, I'll give you a shout.
Yeah, you gotta let me know.
Yeah.
Because like that Hector Oaks was so fun.
Yeah,
like talking about mixing, like he's on vinyl, like going back and forth, playing his stuff, like smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, he's like cigarette all the time.
Cigarette all the time. Yeah, inside this like warehouse. That was a good time. That was really fun.
I had to convince these guys. I'm like, yo, yeah, come to Hector Oats. He mixes vinyls. No BPM counter. Nothing.
Yeah.
No markers. He's just
play by
with
ear
the
and
music.
memorization.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I guess like what you were saying before, like I listened to some Hector Oaks song and I was like, okay, I mean these are pretty good, but like I don't know like what's going on here, right? And then you show up, it's just like the best concert or the best show I think I've ever been to, right?
I definitely agree with that. Some of his stuff are like, it kind of sounds the same, but his live is just way different. That's the thing with music too. It's like some songs when you just listen on headphones, like the tracks on Spotify, and then how they play live is like completely different. So that's why I love that aspect of live and like tracks. But yeah. So what songs do you usually specialize in mixing?
Yeah, so
or like and enjoy mixing?
Yeah, I think like my favorite, just kind of like with my DJ name, I just like those like riding tracks. A really good artist who I like, his name's Gareth Cole, where just like
that's
really
a deep end. I don't even know that.
Oh yeah. He plays this like. No, I don't know. He plays like house stuff, but it's just like really cool, like driving tracks, like the treble and like the synths are just like going, and there's not like a big drop or anything, like a little bit of one, but it's just got that like driving force the whole way. I just think it's so fun and just like keep grooving a little bit the whole time. Like one of the things I guess that I was kind of like struggling with a little bit, or that's something interesting when I started playing, was when I first started, I would cue out my music like super, super tight. Like I would mix it within 16 bars, and almost always so that it would be like the drop that would happen. Because I always had this fear where I would be up there playing and everyone would be staring at me, and it'd be this like 6-minute long song with like, just a kick and a hi-hat or whatever for like 4 minutes. And everyone's like, what the hell? I can't dance to this, right? Yeah. So like I always had a big fear of, you always got to keep it energy. Like it's always got to be like the best part of the song every time. But then the thing is, like you do that for a bit, then
it just becomes too much, right?
Yeah, exactly. It becomes way too much, and then you don't get those moments.
I think that's when we went to Hector Roads. I think there was a lot of like low moments, and then he just drove it back up.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's huge, and yeah, like that's another thing I'd say for anyone who's like wanting to start. Like, obviously, you got to keep your sets interesting, like no doubt, but it's kind of fun too to like tease it a little bit, have the build up. Like, there's nothing wrong with playing a song for 4 to 5 minutes. Especially in house, like if you like, have a nice little build up and drop, and you can mix the other one in to make it a little interesting. I think that's like totally fine and fair. And I think even as a listener, like I appreciate it more, because if it was just like banging all the time, then it eventually just all sounds the same. Right?
Yeah. So, in terms of that, like, do you have a favorite DJ right now? Currently?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
do you listen to a lot of sets? Because I feel like because you're a DJ, you don't listen to as many sets.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've been so bad. Like, I haven't been listening to a lot of sets, but I should. I mean, I've seen a lot of good shows.
It's hard to, because when you're putting together sets, I feel like you're working, so you're not really listening and discovering music.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to spend time putting it together and then knowing the tracks. And then when you want to discover tracks, you gotta take more time to find tracks. Yeah.
I should start though. I mean, I know there's so many good sets online. Like, so maybe I'll do that even tomorrow at work.
Are you going to Boiler Room this year?
I haven't bought my tickets, but I want to. I went last year.
Yeah.
Like
you went last year.
One.
You can went last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it's kind of like EI.
Yeah.
It is a bigger version of EI in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, because I think they had a boiler room that was inside too. Like
he went too.
I went both.
I actually went to both too.
Yeah. the one indoor is mostly techno sets, and the one outdoor has 3 different stages. One was house, one was techno, and the other one was more of a jazz type of vibe.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah. I remember I forgot who was the DJ. She was playing Barbie Girl as a house track, and that was pretty fun.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that's where. So in the indoor boiler.
Sorry, what was this? The techno stage or the?
No, the house stage, the main stage.
Main.
It was the main stage. It was actually pretty fun. Like, I find myself recording, and if you go to like all this new underground DJs, when they start mixing in popular songs and remixing them, it kind of sounds nice in a way. It's like a refreshing thing to when you're listening to other big headliner DJs when they produce their own songs. It's like you're going to their show, but then when you come down to like local shows like Boiler Room, you'll find that there are a lot more twists and turns to different types of songs that will pull you in.
Would you say that for Boiler Room, everyone's just trying to bring their best set?
Of course, always, yeah. You are presented like an opportunity to showcase your work, right? Your resume. This is essentially your part of your resume. Yeah. Same thing with like the HOR, HOR, which is like a German. Is it a YouTube channel?
I'm pretty sure it's a YouTube channel. Yeah. It's called HOR.
HOR.
They do it in the bathroom.
Bathroom
sets. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have like this. The background is like a towel, and then you just have him, the DJ, and the deck, and that's it. Right. Yeah. Then you see a lot of different types of style. I've seen this Japanese guy. I forgot what his name is. As the set goes, he would take off a piece of clothing every time. He would start. He would wear pretty heavy. Like he would wear a hat, a sweater, and a shirt, and then a singlet at the bottom. And then he was just, as the track end, he's like half naked. Yeah. So he just takes off a piece and everything. So it's like different styles that you can see, and it's also part of the element of putting up a show, like your showmanship as a DJ, right? When you try to read the crowd, you play your sets, how in your elements of doing things like Armin van Buuren with his Jesus pose. Every time he wants to do a big drop, right, he would put his arms out like a Jesus pose, right? So the showmanship is what you learn at baseline, and the gigs that you take in, you see what works, and you kind of stick with it, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, what do you guys? So I guess, how do you guys think about? I don't want to say like crowd pleasers or corny songs, but like playing Barbie Girl or like totally switching the vibe up. How do you guys feel about that? Because as a DJ, I mean, I sometimes if I'm playing a show and I know my friend's going to be there, I'll try and sneak in one, you know, just even something like that, or have a big backspin, you know, backspin it out, play something totally off the freaking wall, and then backspin it out again and play something else after, just because like palate cleanser, you know, like, oh, I'm still here, I'm seeing you guys. But what would you guys think about that?
I think it's good because sometimes when you are sinking into the set, you must cater to the whole crowd, right? Most of the time you can't please everyone, and doing something a little bit different kind of sets the jolt to other people. If people are listening into intimately, will have a nice breather to your set, and the ones who are not really concentrating can kind of see, oh, he's trying something new.
He's bringing it back.
He's bringing it back. You know what I mean? So it's certain skills and strategy that you can apply to the crowd and try to crowd control that. Bring
to get the attention back.
Yeah. Engage as much as you can, right? Like you said, like I'm still here. I'm still listening to you guys. I'm watching you guys while I'm DJing. Now, when you learned that, was it through gigs or was it through like baseline when you did it?
I think I learned it. Yeah, I guess mostly through gigs, but I guess just shows I've been to. I always remember when. You know, something that I always remember in sets, like if someone plays something like Barbie Girl or, you know.
What's your favorite song?
It's like,
you have
my favorite song ever.
Favorite song ever. I'll tell you mine right now. Yeah. It's DJ Alice or Alice DJ.
Oh, Better Off Alone. Yeah.
That's my favorite song.
I love that song. Yeah.
I've grew up like listening to b-boy music because I was doing a little bit of breakdancing. I think Begging was one of my favorite.
Begging, yeah, that's a good song too.
How's that one go?
I'm begging you.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one.
That's a good song. Yeah. I think so. Probably my favorite, not recently, but there's this band called Glitch Mob. I don't know if you guys ever heard of them.
I think I've heard. I think I've heard of it.
I think they're like British or whatever. But I heard some of their songs, and when I was younger, I would listen to this on repeat. It's called like Drive It Like You Stole It. I think like this is back when I had like Apple Music was like the way to do it on iTunes. I swear I played that song like 700 times. It's crazy.
What year was it?
It would have been like 2010 or something, or maybe even before.
It sounds familiar.
But man, it's like such a great song.
Send it to me later. Send it to me later.
Yeah, I can send it to you. It's just like absolute classic, you know, like high synths, like a little bit of breakdown and stuff, like early stuff like that. But yeah, it's like absolute, probably classic song.
So yeah, going back to the question, how do you find music? How do you discover music? And how do you organize it?
That was good. Yeah, that was a good tangent we had there. Let's go back. So how I find music, honestly, like I'm a Spotify guy. Like that's what I use. So a lot of time I use the Discover Weekly.
Yeah, I swear by Discover Weekly.
I love it so much, man. Yeah, like and what I like about it is it'll pick up what you listened to the last week, right? So if I'm really on like a techno vibe, if I'm really on like a Latin vibe, whatever, I'll get more and more of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you keep kind of going down
the rabbit hole.
Yeah. So, I mean, I live by Discover Weekly. I love it. And like find a song you like, see who made it, listen to all their stuff, listen to everyone who is also like them, see the stuff you like.
Have you used the song radios?
Down rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's a deep rabbit hole. So if you really like a song, so what you do is you open up the song and you go a song radio.
Yeah.
And then that song will give you familiar songs like that. And then it'll mix in some of the songs you already know, but it'll give you similar songs, and then the rabbit hole just keeps going.
It just goes
and
forever.
Then, and then you find another song you like, and then you song radio that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's usually my go-to though. That's usually my go-to, the song radio. I don't do Discover Weekly. I just find that like I'm still trying to learn the songs they are right now than it is what is new. Right?
I just love how it's automated too. It's like it just gives it to you, and it's hassle free, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So easy. But so I guess how I organize it is my Spotify is like it's pretty. I don't know. It's pretty messy, but I'll have one central playlist.
Right.
I call it like whose house is it anyways. So whenever I find a song that I like that's in this genre, or, you know, house music, whatever, I'll just put it on there. And then I'll have playlists the way that I replicate it, like on Rekordbox. Mm-hmm. So I'll have one for, you know, like Afro Latin, like just old school house, you know, like synths, disco, evil beats, which is what I call like, I don't know, tech house, stuff like that. And then I'll also have other folders for events. So like I knew I was playing for traits. So anytime like I heard a song that I wanted to play on that, even just when I was listening, I'd kind of put it in my events one. And then I'll even have events one that haven't happened yet. Like maybe I'll play at Cherry this summer. So I'll just say, okay, Cherry Beach, like I know it's going to be a beach vibe. I know it's going to be probably high energy. What's some stuff that I know right now that I can put in it? So then when it happens and like, or if it happens, I already have like, here's 40 songs in the vibe of what I think I should be playing. And then I could start with that.
That's pretty interesting how you say the location makes a difference too. Because sure. I feel like you wouldn't, now that I'm thinking about it, you wouldn't like go hard techno at the beach. It's more of like a underground in the tunnel type of deal.
But I've definitely listened to hard techno. It just depends on everyone's vibes, right? Yeah. If you're a big hard techno fan, you will play it.
You'll play it.
You'll definitely
try to fit it in there.
But like the thing that's so crazy is like sometimes you'll find a song that's like so perfect. It's like my favorite song of the moment. Like I love it more than anything. But then you play it and just like based on the crowd just falls completely flat. Like even like, I'm the only one dancing and I'm the one behind the decks just because it's not the right song for the moment. So, that's even something that I learned. Like that's why I kind of organize it within all these little folders and groups and stuff. Because then when I'm playing on the beach and it's like a song that I don't even really like that much, I'll like hear it and be like, oh, this is absolutely perfect for this moment right now. And this is the one I got to play. So that's kind of how I try and organize it. So I'm not just playing the ones that I like recently, but I'll even be playing songs that I learned like 4 years ago that I haven't heard since, but it like, fits perfectly for the moment, right?
Do you use the Q loop? So do you the hot Q loops? So do you have a certain song and then I really like this section, I'm gonna save this section? I feel like that's so much to really remember.
Yeah.
Is that something you do or?
I always do, yeah. Like so usually how I mix is I'll cue it out. So like especially when I started, I'll put 16 beats before 16 bars before where I want to come in. Because like when I'm mixing, you almost mix in 16 bars or a phrase. So then I'll have A for 16 bars coming in and then G for like 16 bars going out. So then if you match up A and G, your mixes are pretty much good within 16 bars. And then, as you get more comfortable, you can like loop or start earlier or start later or whatever. But then if it's like you cue the song up, you got to mix it right now. Okay, I know I start at A, hit A. All right, I'm good. Yeah, so that's usually what I do. And that's like, I don't know, I guess that's what I'd recommend everybody else does too. But obviously you don't have to. Like the other thing that I do is when I have the cue that I'm starting on, I'll almost always loop. Like I'll start at the spot that I want and loop one bar after it. So then you can beat match beforehand. And it's kind of like, I don't want to say like cheating, but you don't need to beat match live. You can kind of like beat match it in your headphones beforehand. Then when you're ready to go, like you line it up, end the loop, and then like the songs will go and you can bring them up and they're already beat matched. You don't need to worry about doing that live with everyone staring at you.
Would you say that kind of strategy actually eliminates one of mistakes that I believe all DJs have ever encountered? I certainly have encountered when I first started. When you know the next song is coming and you kind of have a last minute feeling that the song will not match the crowd. Just like the gut feeling that this song is not it to mix with this. So do you use like the hot cues to cue up like that new song just to test the waters enough to see if it is good enough to continue playing, continue down that path, or you have to quickly search a new song just to put it in?
Yeah, I mean, I'll usually do the same thing. Like if it's playing and you're like, I don't know if this is quite right or if the beat's quite right or if the key's quite right. Play it, just like, on your headphones, cue it up, listen to the live track and the other track. Even just hearing the kicks go together, be like, okay, yeah, this is good. Or then you can go like further on the song, hear the vocal, be like, okay, yeah, this isn't working. And then just pick the next one. And then you kind of already have like a starting point. But like when I'm playing shows, like if it's, like a house party or whatever, like I usually won't prepare a set. But if it's like a big show, like I'll definitely go in there and prepare it. Like I know some other DJs who are, like, I don't know, I'd say like definitely a step up for me and like, quite a bit better. They would prepare their tracks. Like they'll have like a playlist of stuff they want to play, but not the order. But usually, like when I'm playing a show, I'm still at the point where I'll like organize it. You know, this song into this song into this song into this song, and then if the vibe's wrong, you know, you can just not play it. Right, you can do anything you want, but I like it having at least like the first 5 songs or 4 songs organized, as well as the peak organized. So then, like when you start and you're nervous and everyone's staring at you, you can just kind of play and like, you know, you kind of know that your first couple are going to be good, and you don't need to worry about that.
Right.
And then, you know, you can have some big moments there. Like if you want, you know, have like a big mix at the start, or if you want to like start off with a certain vibe, you kind of know you're going to hit it. And then I always have my peak organized too, because it's like, you know, the peak of the moment, everyone's like dancing, like at the most intense part of the set. You want to make sure it goes off well. You don't want to, you know, be like looking for tracks and then play one that totally changes the vibe, right? Like you want to make sure that that's super, super tight. And that's like how I do it.
How long do you usually, how long does it usually take to prepare for a set?
Like sometimes I'll do it for like a week or something. Yeah, like a couple hours a night. But I think it depends. Like I probably over prepare a bit. For me, like half of the fun is just making these playlists and trying to set a vibe and trying to have like big moments and like really hearing what goes well together. For me, like I like that as much as mixing, honestly, like trying to figure out the songs and the vibes and stuff. Like it's just so much fun. So like I'm happy doing it, but I probably should practice mixing more. Like, yeah.
So you tell me that you prepare, sometimes you have a preparation of sets, but when going into the gig, somebody holds up a phone saying that play this song, I want to play this song, and like maybe they're drunk or not, but how do you like, kind of deal with that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's only happened to me a couple times. I think one time, so I guess this is actually a good thing that I learned too. I was playing at Baseline one time and it was Halloween, and I don't think it was actually Halloween, it was like the 29th or something, but it was the Friday, so it was Halloween effectively. And this lady came in and she was like so drunk. She was so freaking drunk. And then she was just like saying that. She was like, play techno. And like, I don't listen to a lot of like hardcore banging, you know, like 150 BPM, like balls to the wall techno. So then to cheat it, I just turned the bass up a little bit high and like wash it out. So then, you know, you still got to like doom, like right. turn it up way higher than it should be. Like basically destroy the whole track, right? It sounds like shit, but then you're like playing it. It's like, she's like, yeah. Because it's not proper techno, but you kind of cheat it, right?
Yeah. Because house is like what, 70 BPM?
Yeah, it's like a lot of it's like 125.
125.
Or like 125.
What do you like to mix at? Like, what's your BPM like that you like to go around like at the peak at least?
Peak, like I'll go like 125 usually. Yeah, like 124. But I'm getting way more into like breaks now. So kind of like the heavy drum, like I don't know, DnB adjacent, and that's like 130, something like that. So I'll like bring it up and down. But anyway, so if someone does that, like cheat it out, which is funny. And then I also created a playlist because again, this happened again at Baseline. We got some girls who came in, and then they came up to me on the deck, and it was just like me and one of my friends, DJ, and we're like, okay, so what do you guys want to play? Like, you're the only people in the bar. We'll play to you whatever you want. You know, like you're a captive audience. Then they just like looked at us like, okay, do you have any Pitbull? And I was like, no, I don't have any Pitbull.
Your intention was to try to practice freestyling, right?
Yeah.
Trying to practice your transition, and then they come in and say, "Oh, this is a non-EDM song. Can you play some pop songs?" So.
I was like, "No, I can't.
You're in the wrong place."
Yeah, and they're like, "Okay, do you have any Luke Combs?" I was like, "No, I don't have any Luke Combs at all."
But I'm pretty sure if you search on Recordbox or Serato, you would definitely be able to find some songs. It's just that you don't know how to mix it into your usual thing, right? Because we are all, I mean, there's a difference between a pop DJ and also a EDM DJ, right?
Yeah.
So for most of the time with Recordbox, you have to import your own music unless you stream it. So you have to get a Tidal subscription, and then you link it to your Recordbox or Serato, and then that way you can stream it, but you need an internet connection.
Yeah.
So if you most of the time, like for the CDJs, you have to bring in your own USB and you plug it in, and whatever tracks are in your USB is whatever tracks there is.
That's what you got.
Yeah.
So anyways, I basically couldn't play to these people, and then they left like after like 15 minutes, but it was fun, right? Whatever. Like, so what I learned after that was I created a playlist just for that situation. So I don't know. That's something I'd recommend too. I know sometimes my friends like give me a little bit of crap for it because I'll practice open format because, I'm not a good open format DJ by any means, but there's certain times where it's happened or even at house parties. Like I'll be playing a really great set. I'm loving it. Everyone's like grooving, backspin it out, play like Promiscuous, the Nelly Furtado song, everyone goes ballistic, so like especially like based on the situation, like not even that you need to be good, but that you can be flexible with it. And, like, okay, we've been listening to techno or house for like 2 hours. Everyone's pretty drunk at this point. Let's play something totally goofy. And then we'll like go on this vibe for 30 minutes. And even if my transition sucks, nobody cares because they hear a beat they know and everyone's going to start cheering.
Yeah. That's true.
That's something I'd recommend everyone kind of gets into as well. Like, because you never know. And at the end of the day, you're there to entertain people. So, if they want to listen to Justin Timberlake or Nelly Furtado or whatever, I mean, like they should, right?
Yeah,
like that's fine. That's kind of our job.
So kind of continuing on the way how you say it, you, as far as this podcast goes, as what I'm getting from is you are slowly increasing your library size. How do you kind of keep track of like other songs that you haven't played in ages, right? Yeah. How do you do it?
That's a really good question, man. That's really good. I don't know. It's tough. Like usually what I do is, so again, I have that playlist that I always go to called like Whose House Is It Anyways or whatever, where I just throw everything. And then what I do is like when I know I need to download songs, I'll just go to where I left off on that playlist, listen to all of them again, and then basically download the ones that I want to take. And then I'll put them in this playlist that I call like new in processing. So that's the ones that are new. And then, basically I need to sort them into folders. So then I'll just put them all there and then slowly sort them into folders. And then once I sort them into folders, I'll delete them off that new in processing playlist. So it's always just like my newest stuff, like that I'm most excited about right now. But in terms of songs that you haven't played in a while, I mean, it's really tough because I always get into that trap where I'll just play like the newest stuff that I like right now that like, sounds the best to me. But usually what I'll try and do is like if I have a set, like I'll know kind of the vibe I want to go for and what I want to play. And then, I'll sort it into like, evil songs like Tech House or Afro Latin or Beach or whatever. Then I'll just like go through the whole thing top to bottom, just scroll through and be like, okay, yeah, this one works, this one works, this one's works. And then even within those folders, I mean, it takes a lot of time, so I don't even know if I'd recommend doing this, but I organize all of them by key and by BPM. So then when I'm playing, like if I'm going for like a beach vibe, I can hit that playlist and it'll go like, okay, A1. So I don't even know what key that is properly, but like the very first key, and then like it'll go upwards in BPM. Mm-hmm. So it's really easy to find songs that will match well together. And then, then like if I have a new song and it's in like 7A, it's going to go to the 7A portion. So then like when I open that mix, I'm seeing old songs, new songs, like whatever, right? It's not just like my new songs all the time.
So it seems like there's to be a DJ, you gotta have a lot of patience to put together your track list and organize everything. How much time do you actually how much time have you actually put into organizing your track, your folders?
A lot, for sure. A lot. Yeah, that's probably what I spend a lot of my time doing.
It's not like all just like, I'm mixing all the time. No, it's like a lot of organization.
Yeah. It's
a
like
lot of prep work.
Yeah. It's a ton of prep work, like a ton of organization. But I mean, it's fun, like based on like sometimes, like I'm really into it and it's like all I want to do all the time. Sometimes it's like, okay, whatever. Then I'll just practice mixing and go through the songs that I know I like and practice the transitions and stuff. Other times, like it's just so much fun just to put in the headphones, listen to it and, jump around my songs and remember old stuff. And I love, kind of like I said, I love making playlists and love like thinking about mixing and how I can like make a really good story in my sets instead of just, here's like 20 songs that I really like, how do we start off slow and then like build it up, then have those big moments and like bring it back down and do all that stuff. For me, that's kind of the fun part too. So I don't even mind just like going through and clicking, but it's a lot of time.
Yeah.
It takes
because you have to scrub through it too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It takes forever. But I think maybe the other thing that I would say about that is there's these things called DJ pools. So I guess for anyone, like the one that I was using for a bit, it's called Zip DJ. And I think it's like $25 for the first month. And then after that, it's $50 a month, but you can cancel anytime. So do it for 1 month, fix your whole library, and then cancel. It's unlimited downloads. Yeah, so it's unlimited downloads, so whatever, right? But that's something that I would like recommend. You can just go in there and just download tons of songs, and they have like DJ packs, they call them. So they're curated by somebody, I don't know who, but there's going to be like 25 songs. So if it's something that you like, you know, and like bass house or whatever, they'll have one. Bass house essentials 1, then like bass house essentials 2. You know, half the songs might not be good, but at least you can download them and start. And that's like when I was, I guess, talking about that like open format top 40 thing, I would just look up like house party 90s R&B or whatever, and then boom, you got like 24 songs that fit that genre that you can then download and just like chuck in there, and then I'm just like gonna never look at them again unless I need to. So that's like a good way to like get a whole bunch of music too and build your library out, especially when you're starting out, or else it's pretty daunting to, you know, download like 800 songs or whatever.
Yeah, it's a slow build up. You can't just expect to have all your songs, because like some of them don't work all the time, right?
Yeah.
Moving back to gigs, how are you finding gigs, and what have you discovered about that part of the business?
So I think the biggest thing that I learned is I don't know, I guess kind of like what we were talking about. You just got to be really open and to like playing a lot of stuff. I think it's good to get involved in the community for sure. Like kind of, you know, if there's someone who you know and they've seen you play, they know your style, they kind of know what you're capable of, I think they're way more open to doing that. Especially if it's your friend, you know, I'd give like a shot to my friend anytime because, you know, I just like them too. So it's definitely important to just to get to know people who run the events too, and like show an interest in what they're doing. Like show up to the event, you know, offer to help if you can, and, you know, try and get them to hear you play at least once, so like they know that it's legit. Because, you know, kind of like we were talking about, it's really easy, like if you're on Instagram, to record the best part, or, you know, do one transition or one mix really, really well. But then, you know, like you're up there for an hour and a half, so it's not like one song. Like you got to do that 20 times, right? So it's like it's really important to play live, and like they'll hear you play and kind of know what you're all about, and then I think they're open to giving you a chance. So all the gigs that I've had have just been through like knowing people, like going to their event, getting involved in whatever they're doing, like showing an interest in it, kind of knowing the type of music that they play that fits their vibe and, you know, kind of what they're trying to achieve with their event, and then just being able to play in that, you know. So if it's like a techno event, you got to bring techno, because you can't just show up to a techno event and be like, oh, I'm actually not a techno DJ. Like I only play, I don't know, whatever, like Latin house.
Yeah.
Like it's not, you know, you can be the best Latin house DJ ever, but it's got to be like what they're looking for. And I think a lot of people are interested in it too. Like if you love the music and you have a good energy, you're willing to help, a lot of people are going to give you a chance, like especially at this level. You know, like none of us are selling out, you know, whatever, like Scotiabank Arena. None of us are DJing Tomorrowland. You know, it's like a bar, honestly. Like if you can play at a bar and play a set for an hour and a half, get some people dancing, that's all they want from you, right?
What do you say with your ideal setup length? Is it like half an hour, an hour and a half? Because some DJs can go like open to close like Coda, right? 6-7 hours. I still remember that Christoph night when the daylight saving hit at 2 a.m. and he just paid an extra hour. It was like we were in there for 7 hours, just all him. My goodness.
That's crazy.
But like for you, what's your preferred ideal set that you feel comfortable with, that is not too exhausted to continue playing? Or is it like at which point it was too much, or was it too short?
Yeah. I think usually my favorite is probably an hour and a half. I like that a lot, because that's probably about like 20 songs or so. And it'll let you, you know, like, again, kind of what I'm saying. I love like trying to like tell a story or whatever, like have a journey. Like, I don't know, I'm not trying to sound pretentious, but just like not like bang out a bunch of songs, but like bring the energy up and stuff like that, kind of plan it out a bit. So that gives you enough time to like set the tone. Here's what I do. Like, here's kind of what you can expect. Build the energy up, like have that big crescendo, and then cool it down a little bit and pass it over to the next person. Like if it's 30 minutes, I think 30 minutes is probably like I don't know, like 5 or 6 songs, right? So
would you say that's too short to do a complete journey where it's like a story? You have the starter, you have the uprising, then you have the downfall, and then you have the climax, and then you have the conclusion. In a way, would you say that you kind of put those elements in your set too?
That's definitely what I try to do. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's like that. I guess we'll see. I have to ask someone who's heard it, but I think about an hour and a half is probably about a good time. But you know, the other thing that's interesting about it is so much of it is dependent just on, you know, like what the event is, like what they're going for. Like I know, like the last one I did, I got an hour 30 just because like that was the vibe, that was the format. But I know there's a lot of other groups that have way more DJs, so then only everyone can play 30 minutes because everyone's got to play, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like what the event's like, what the vibe's like, and kind of what they're going for. But hour 30 is like probably about good. But it's hard to play an hour 30 straight, honestly. Like one of the things that I'd also recommend, just play for a full hour 30, like because it's actually kind of hard.
Yeah, it's tiring. You're standing the whole time. You're also dancing. You're trying to show the crowd that this is how you dance to my kind of music. You know.
Yeah.
It's daunting, and then you're managing your decks on top of it, trying to figure out the next song, and some songs only last like 2 minutes, and you have to like work fast too, right? You also don't want to like play a 6-minute song. It kind of feels like it's lazy in a way, right? It doesn't show the skill as much as you have trained for. But I totally understand.
So, I mean, I think that's something I'd recommend to everyone who's getting started. I know it's really tough, but just try. And, you know, because that's one of the things that I really did to prepare. Just timed it, an hour 30. Okay, I got an hour 30. What if I take the set this way? Play the whole set, record it. Okay, this was the mixes that worked well. These are ones I didn't really like. This song like didn't fit well. The song I wanted to play, I didn't. And then you just, then try it again. But then take it a whole different direction.
Did you record your when you started? Did you record your sets and go back and listen?
I would try to. Yeah, I probably wouldn't listen to them like, you know, just because I'm lazy. It's hard to listen to them like front to back.
Yeah,
but especially like I would just listen to the transitions and, you know, go through and kind of know whereabout they are in the track, listen to it. What did I like? What did I not like? You know, what was the energy like? You know, how could I improve it next time or maybe swap the song out? I would definitely do stuff like that. I actually thought that was pretty fun too.
Do you stop at an hour and 30 sharp on the dot?
Yeah. When I was practicing, I would. Yeah. But I mean, if I go over a little bit, that was okay too. Yeah. But usually I just try and see like, you know, what does it feel like to play for a full hour 30? Like what does it feel like? Because it's actually a pretty long time. And like you say, like 20, 30 songs, but that's like quite a few songs, you know, to like be playing and finding them and looking for them. And, you know, it's not like that hard.
Sometimes you're like neither here nor there, right? You're in an hour 26 minute, and then you know that your next song is more than 7 minutes long, but you cannot really put a 2 minute and another 2 minute, right? Yeah. But you really want to play that 7 minute song, so it's okay to like just go over the time limit, but like anything less, I know as a raver, if let's say my DJ, the headliner says he's going to play for 3 hours, I expect 3 hours. You know what I mean? Yeah, sure. If you stop at 2 hours and 45 minutes, I'll be like, yo, where's my money? Yeah. No, I'm just joking. Right? You know what I mean? But we're pretty much like right now for me scratching the surface of being a DJ. I mean, scratching the surface of being a raver in general, right? I already told you that I was thinking of buying a decks. Even right now when I go to club raves, I kind of stand next to the near where I can actually see how the DJ play with the decks. So for you, like, do you have like different feeling? Because I know we've been to raves before, and now you're a DJ. Is it like different? Do you like it being a DJ, or do you want to like kind of go back, being back and forth, being a raver and a DJ, where being a raver you can still discover new music and how different headliners tackle different types of problems in terms of their sets? Yeah,
I think, you know, if anything, I think it's given me a better appreciation of the art form. Like, it's so interesting because, like, even when I would raving, you know, I've been like a raver, like Benny, for a pretty long time, and you know, like hearing it and like all these songs and noises and things, it's like, wow, this is like amazing, you know, like this is so crazy. But then when you get into it more and like you're actually DJing, like it just opens up even more questions of like, how is this person actually doing this? Like I remember when we were at Nomad at Leighton Giordani, or
Leighton
Giardini,
whatever his name is. Yeah. Like I could hear like sometimes he was playing like 2 to 3 songs over top of each other all the time, but it was like coherent. And I just left me with more questions. Like, how do you do this? Like what is your trick? Because like it's so seamless, it's so flawless.
You're trying to figure out their thought process, so you can understand and apply it to your own sets or at least DJ.
Yeah. I mean that kind of sets them apart, right? Because for you as a DJ, and you hear that, you're like, wow, you are in awe. But to the rest of us, kind of sounds like, oh, he's transitioning to another song, but. When you're like kind of deep into the art form, you're like, he's not just meshing 2 songs together; he's meshing 3 on top of that, like seamlessly. When I first saw, I remember it kind of opened my eyes when I watched this. I recently got into drum and bass because of Sonny, our other co-host. When I saw this video, they had a camera on the DJ and another camera on the decks, and I see this person was flipping up 3 to 4 CDJs all together all the time. So 1 and 3 is up, and then you will swap between the 2 and 3, sometimes all 3, and then twisting the knobs. I was like, I think that's a little bit too much. You know what I mean? It's like, you kind of consider it as like a sport in a way. You have your hand-eye coordination must be like sharp. You need to be on your game when you are doing gigs.
And you gotta really understand the music too.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, you gotta understand the game to play the game well, right? So yeah.
But you know, it's interesting. Like once you get to that level, like when I first started mixing and doing transitions and stuff, it was always like, you know, really thinking about it. Like, okay, you know, I got to bring the highs up and then I bring these highs down and whatever. But then once you get the hang of it, or you know, you kind of more used to it, it's like a lot more intuitive. Like again, I'm talking about like the counting
driving
and stuff.
A car.
Yeah, it's like driving a car. Like you're just going, okay, I'm moving the highs up. Like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, it's high. Bring the other one down. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, like you kind of like learn the music and kind of hit the rhythm of the tracks.
Right.
Like once you get used to turn the knobs and like whatever, like all that kind of stuff, and you know, you kind of just more like focus on the music. It's like it's pretty intuitive. Like you just like up there and you can kind of hear it. This one sounds good. This one doesn't. Yeah, you're really feeling it, and then like you kind of know, okay, I got 16 bars like right here or whatever. 32 bars is what we're doing, and then you can just like hit it. You kind of like learn the rhythms of the song, because a lot of, you know, pretty much every single song has the exact same structure, you know, just like the fundamentals of it. So then you can really be like, okay, how do I mix this one in or mix this one out? And you kind of hear the vibe of it and how it goes. And it gets more easy, but it's just a lot of practice. Honestly, it's just tons of bang your head against it. But I guess like to answer your question, I think I appreciate it more now that I kind of know like the back end of it. I love seeing them play. Like I love sitting by the side too and just staring at what they're doing and like how they can manage this thing. It's like flying a spaceship, you know, like 4 decks. Like
I always say that when you're watching them, it gives you another. It helps you. It gives you another way for you to anticipate what's coming up. So if you know, like, oh, the drop is coming soon, you're really watching them. And then when you're watching them and the drop comes, you're really enjoying it because you know it's coming. But I want to ask a couple more questions before we end this podcast. First one is, since you're more involved in like the DJing side and like the production side, I guess, what details might the audience not know about raving? Because a lot of us just go and attend these festivals and these events, and don't really know what's behind the scene.
I think the 2 things that I learned that I thought were the most interesting is, one is just like how much, at least at like, you know, my level, which would say like is definitely amateur, just how much of it is like personality driven and how much of it is you can get people inside. You know, like if you can show up and you know you're gonna go to the bar and like, you know, when you play 10 people are coming, a lot of people give you a chance. Like even if you're not a great mixer, if you can bring a crowd and like, you know the crowd's gonna buy drinks and the crowd's gonna be hype and stick around, like you can get a lot of opportunities for sure. So I think that's one thing that's interesting is, you know, you like to think it's like, you know, I'm the best DJ, I got the best sets, I got the best transitions. But like if you can't pull people, you know, it's like it's tough, right? Like you need kind of that two sides of it. If you need to bring people when you play, and then you gotta be able to play to people who don't know you and they're not there just to support, right? I think the other thing that I thought was really interesting is how much, you know, like the atmosphere and vibe plays into it too. Like when I was playing that trade show, like they did a really good job of, it was at Bar Dem. So they have a really cool setup. They got some like lanterns above, you know, like the vibe's totally different, right? And then like the guys who I was playing with even brought extra materials of like, you know, to decorate the DJ booth a little bit, like actually purposefully make the production quality that much better because, you know, it's kind of like a whole experience, right? Like if you show up to an event and it's like a folding table and like I'm there, you know, like, yeah, okay, it's cool. Like the music could be that great, but it's such a different experience when you show up and, you know, like the lights are cool and like the drinks are good and like the vibe's nice. Like, you know, it's totally different and
kind of makes you want to step up your game a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, and even with the traits, guys, it was really cool because he told me, he's like, okay, so we're going to play with all the lights on and then I'll tell you when, and we're going to dim the lights. So he said, okay, like I know the best part of my set, because I planned it out, is going to be around this time. So like, just like give me a heads up when you're doing it and I'll make sure that like I play the best part then. So then he knows, he's like, okay, yeah, lights turn down, you know, okay, I'll do a little bit of extra flashy mixing. Right now, the lights go down, drop hits. You know, just even things like that, it's so cool because it really makes a big difference in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And like being cognizant of that and like you're always thinking about it of like, how can I make this like a great moment or how can I make this a great show and make it memorable? You know, it makes a huge difference, right? Like versus if we're, you know, like in a high school gym or whatever, like with a fold-out table. Like, you know, like even just like tiny things like that, you know, it was really fascinating. So I learned a lot about that and that's something that I want to take forward for sure.
So I don't know if you know, but the industry is doing an event at a TTC subway station, the TTC Rave. And the artists have not been announced, but like, going back to the atmosphere, I think that's such a cool event and such a unique experience. So I bought tickets to that, even though it was kind of expensive. But I think it's like that once in, I don't know if a lifetime experience, but it's definitely going to be a memorable experience because it's not every day you get to go to the subway and rave.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope there's a shout out. There's like Anthony J's track, I think Line 4. If you guys heard that.
No,
like he's an industry guy. He's actually around baseline sometimes. He's a really cool guy. He made a song about like the TTC rave, or it's like a TTC song. And I think he did a show at Bay for like the opening of it. It was pretty funny.
Back last year, right?
Yeah, this was last year. Yeah, he had like a TTC commissioner jacket on, and he's playing this like TTC rave and like in Bay Station. Yeah, it's so cool.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, he's a great guy too. So like. Shout out. It's a good song too.
So one last question before we sign off. So you said that EZRyder is just a temporary name. I don't know. Do you have any names you have in mind that you want to transition to, or
I don't know.
Not thinking yet.
I got to think about it. I mean, like it's not a bad name, but I don't know if I'm like married to it. Yeah, I think I chose it. I think I chose it just because it fit my music style, and I thought it was like a little fun and flirty, right? Which is kind of what you want to do. Like it's interesting, but I don't know. It's really tough finding a DJ name. It's like,
you can try an alias.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I just wish I had a cool last name. Like I know a lot of the guys who just go by their proper name. Like they sound like cool. You know, like my name just sounds so normal. So I don't know if it's got the same sway.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I understand.
Have you ever thought, Benny? Have you ever thought of having a DJ name of yourself?
No, actually, I have not.
So what's your DJ name right now?
I don't have a DJ name.
Benny.
So I play a lot of video games. Well, I don't play a lot. I play video games, and my alias is Mr. Bean, spelled out the whole Mr. Mr. Bean. But that's
maybe you can use that. That's not bad.
Yeah, not bad. What about you? What's your DJ name?
It's gonna probably sound a little bit embarrassing, but I'll probably go with DJ Chicken. It kind of sounds like my name, Yikern. So it's like a little bit twist to it, rather than just saying like my own name, but it's more of like something that rhymes.
Yeah.
You know? But like for what Benny said, my in-game name for playing all these video games is Halcyon, like derived from the word halcyon. So that one's kind of sound like cool, you know? But DJ is like more like a bit funky, you know.
Yeah, maybe you got to get some like chicken samples.
Oh yeah,
like before the drop.
Maybe that's why. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's tough. Like, it's tough finding a name like that, but just like pick one and go with it. Hopefully nobody cares that much.
Honestly, I don't think people really care. Like, even if you use your full name, I don't think people care. Like, especially in Europe, these people, the DJs just
use that full name, like Leanne Roberts,
Sarah Laundrie, but Nico Marino.
Yeah,
but they sound cool. That's the thing. Like, that's like a cool name.
Yeah, but then it sounds cool, and for us, right? Maybe to them it's just normal.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, I mean, when they came out to signing up for your open decks, right? That's your first moment. What's your DJ name?
Yeah.
Right. So like, maybe this is just putting in my name, but somehow that's
maybe you can switch to your regular name, because I know I don't know if you know DJ Daddy Trance, but he's kind of switching to his actual name. This is Marlon Hofstadt. So he's kind of transitioning, but you can see on the posters sometimes it's DJ Daddy Trance, sometimes it's Marlon Hofstadt. So maybe you can use your regular name.
I think I got to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I might try it. I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it for today. I don't know what we have in store after this podcast, because we don't know when we're going to be airing it. But, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
We can learn more about our past, our other co-hosts. Like, I think Christine went to Thunderdome. Excision presents Thunderdome at the West Coast. So I heard there's big laser shows. So we can kind of talk about a little bit in the Millennium trilogy thing too. When I just saw this one video, there is a merch line like 4 or 5 blocks down.
Wow.
Just for Millennium.
That was in Montreal, right?
That's in LA.
Oh, okay. What am I thinking of? Oh, I'm thinking of Il Sonique or something.
No, you're thinking of Igloo Fest. Oh, Igloo Fest is happening in Montreal right now. I think it's 6 week long. Every weekend is a different headliner. And Sonny is there for Eric Pritz and Lane 8. So we'll probably listen to him talk about it more. As the day of recording this weekend, we were all over the place. So we just figured it out. So that's pretty much.
One last thing. Do you want to share your socials and where people can find you?
No, yeah, I will. So my Instagram handle is EZRyder.to.infinity, and it's EZRYDER.to.infinity.
I'll put it on the screen.
Yeah, you can put it on the screen.
I'll put it on the screen.
And put it on the description too.
Yeah, I'll put it on the screen description.
That's usually where I'm posting. I mean, I got my personal one too, but I don't know. If you follow me on one, send me a message. I give you my personal too. You should post it on both. But
do you have SoundCloud? You post your mixes on SoundCloud?
No, I should though. Mostly I post them on YouTube right now, but I think I'm going to start branching out.
Well, we'll be looking forward to that if that's on there. I'll put it in the description.
And thanks for having me too, guys. It was really fun. This was like a great time getting to hang out. So thanks for inviting me.
We learned about DJing and whatnot, and how the industry does it to recruit, and how to present your resume in a way, portfolio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this time we have something in the description, which is his socials. So check him out as much as you can. So shoot him a message. He's a cool guy. So yeah.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
You're all cool guys too.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.